Sometimes you don't understand exactly how to connect the dots, but later on, when you get in touch with other people, or when you read something else, or when you learn something new, then you make some connections in your mind.
So hi, super greetings to all of you, all the Liffers out there. Today we have a very interesting guest. So we have been having Liffers on the podcast. We have been having mentors in the podcast, and today for the very first time we have an ICP in the Lif-E Podcast. So we have Oana from Romania. Oana, welcome to the Lif-E Podcast.
Hi, Suraj, and thank you for inviting me. Thank you for sending this opportunity to me to explain a little bit what an ICP is doing. I'm very happy to be part of your podcast, and I feel welcomed in your Live community. Thank you.
So Oana, so you are an ICP from Romania, and the ICP that you represent is called the Romanian Funding Agency for Research and Innovation. So can you talk a little bit more about your ICP and the work that you guys are doing?
Yes, of course. So, like you said, I'm part of UEFISCDI. This is the name, the acronym of our organization. We are the funding agency in Romania. We specialize in funding projects for research and innovation mainly, but also higher education projects. We are involved in the LIFE program since 2022. We are new, rather new. This is the second year that we've been part of the program. So what we are doing, we are promoting the program inside the research community in Romania, and we try to match the best projects that are available right now with the projects that the Royal Academy of Engineering is looking to mentor. Um, our role is to sort of act as an intermediate between these two parties, the Royal Academy of Engineering and the Romanian community. We try to make a very good connection and take into account the needs of both parties. So the types of project that the Academy is looking with the type of research that is available in Romania right now. This is in a very large nutshell what we are doing in Romania.
And I think this is again so your agency is again a part of the Ministry of Higher Education, if I'm not wrong, right? So it's a part of the
Higher
government.
education and research. Yes, two ministries. So we are working with two ministries. The the Ministry of Education is called in Romania, and the other one is called the Ministry of Research, Innovation, and Digitalization.
Wow, amazing.
So we are working with both ministries, and we fund mainly technical projects, not so much social sciences, most technical projects.
And what I could go or what I could understand, after visiting a couple of your programs or the events and the fundings that you've been doing, so you're doing massive kind of activities around. And again, LIF is a very different spectrum and it's a very close knit community that we have again in LIF. So you're doing so many activities in Romania and LIF activities, and you've been just recently onboarded as an ICP from 2022. So what has been your best moments or your best learnings in the short period of time, or from the academy, any moment that you loved? Okay, this is something very unique Liffers are getting, or the academy is doing, or something interesting that you found part of the residential or mentoring, or anything that is your favorite as a part of the entire Lift process.
Yeah, this is a very nice question because for me, this is my first year as an ICP. It has been a whole new experience. Of course, it allowed me to understand better the innovation ecosystem in UK, for instance, but also to have a closer understanding of research projects, because we are mostly working with institutions, so we are funding projects and the relation is between organization and organization. But the LIFE program allowed us to interact more with people, with teams. So best part for me was the program in London, the ending of the program in London, when we had 9 days of training and workshops, and it gave me the possibility to get in contact with a lot of experts from various fields that help me in my daily job. So I had the possibility to talk to tech transfer experts, to experts in monitoring and evaluation of projects, with experts in how to organize a mentorship program. So all these findings are useful not only for the LIF programs, but for my work in the agency as well. So this is my personal input and the part that I like best. But also in terms of working with the teams, it was very interesting to have such a diverse overview of what is happening in the research area. What is the interest of the people, what they want to know more, what they are studying, what they are researching, what they are trying to solve, because researchers are driven by a inner need to solve problems, to find solutions to something that doesn't work very well. And it's nice, it's interesting to see what motivates them and what is the main factor behind their research. So for me, that was one of the best things that I learned as a result of the program.
So you're trying to share that the trends overall was interesting, and a lot of experts getting you understanding how you could run programs. So that was interesting. So these were pretty interesting things. And I went to the residential as well, so it was pretty incredible. So for me as well. So one of the things that I wanted to again maybe maybe for the listeners could be interesting is that so the next cohort when it happens so why should researchers or startups from Romania, why should they apply for a Lif program, so there are so many funding programs in Romania, and there could be a lot of aspects, and there could be a lot of global programs as well, but why should a researcher or why should a startup apply for a Lif, so what makes it special or what makes it interesting, or what do you think is the interesting value that a researcher or a startup could get if they apply next year for the cohort?
I can only speak for the Romanian case, but I hope and I think it's the same in other regions as well, in other countries as well. It gives them a huge opportunity to get into contact with a lot of persons and organizations that they would probably find difficult to contact if they are on their own. So first of all, the program is about networking and is about getting into contact with the right people for your project, for your startup, for your innovation, to get in contact with the people that can help you or have an impact on your future career. So that's the main reason. Another good reason would be the fact that you have a personalized mentorship during the program. So whatever you are doing, the academy is trying to find the right mentor for you, the right person for you, the person with enough experience and expertise to help your particular area of research or in your particular area of innovation. And this is also a very good point because not all countries have such a large area, such a large pool of experts that they can choose mentors from. So UK is, as an innovation ecosystem, is a very dynamic one, is a very diverse one, and people are open-minded and interested in what is going on in the world right now, and they want to help and they want to be part of the change. And it's important when the mentor and the mentee share the same vision and want to reach the same purpose, the same target in the end. It's very important. They work together and their efforts are rewarded in this way. So it's about networking. It's about finding personalized help for your business, for your future business. And it's also about getting to know a lot of people from various countries. And who knows in the future what your startup might look like or where you want to expand. So the Lif community is a huge one, and it gives access to a lot of markets that you normally wouldn't know how to enter, let's say, or who to contact, or how is the culture in that country, or how is the legislation process, or whatever questions you might have. The Lif community offers a very good entry point.
So I think that's a lot of insights. I mean, in terms of connections, in terms of mentorship. So even my mentor was like super amazing. We're still in touch, and when we do podcasts with her, it goes for like hours. So she's super awesome, like, so they're able to very well get mentors, and as you said, personalized, so that's very interesting thing. And you also spoke about culture, so that's an incredible learning even I had, like, in terms of how diverse the cultures globally can be, what a statement can mean different with the slang, like, I'll just say in a subtle manner it could mean different in different cities. So a lot of relation for me, so I think that was very interesting. So I think super thanks for that. So one of the things that we also have started asking the podcast is, like, if you could recommend certain books for lifters out there, like, which you would recommend, or which you feel that this could be something you feel that innovators or entrepreneurs in this world of over information, or in this world of so much content and distraction, should read, or, like, so any thoughts or any advice on that?
I don't have a specific book in mind, because like you said, you have a very large, a huge number of titles that you can choose from, and it's difficult to pinpoint one book or two books or 10 books. I think it's more important, if somebody were to give an advice, the advice should focus on what type of book should a future entrepreneur read. For instance, my advice for them would be to concentrate on autobiographies of people who have succeeded in their journey, in their career, whether they are politicians or media people or researchers or entrepreneurs. Steve Jobs, for instance, everybody knows his journey, and I think everybody read his book. It's important to learn from each of them what were the main parts or the main milestones of their journey, and see how much of those milestones can be applied to one's career. So I would recommend autobiographies. And also in Romania, I'm not sure if it's if this event is present in other countries as well. We have an event called, and I'm sorry for the name, but this is the name, Fucked Up Nights. So this is an event where entrepreneurs come and share their failure experience. They talk about things that went wrong during their journey and share their knowledge on how to get over the. So at least most of the people I've talked about, of the entrepreneurs I've talked to, they said that success is good, but failure is a better teacher. So you learn more when you don't succeed in what you want to achieve than when you do succeed. So I would recommend autobiographies, and I would recommend them to learn from their mistakes and not let the mistakes discourage them. It's just a way of learning more. It's not the end of the road.
And very very nice that you said, because I again read a lot of books again, and everybody's success path have been different, but I think and it's been very unique, so there is no single formula or set. There could be principles and rules, but I think that's a very interesting thing that you said, because people have done it, so why don't you just read them and absorb whatever thing makes sense to you? So, like, in each book of each autobiography, which could be any field. So that's pretty amazing. And thanks for again for the event as well. So I'll again go through see this event, how this event is. Again, talking about failures is again very interesting. It's painful, and in different cultures, again, failure is looked upon very differently. So I think that's again very interesting point that you spoke about. Now, one of the things that you also spoke about is within Lif is about mentorship, like, how in Lif we get around customized mentorships. So one of the aspects that I wanted to ask you was that during the Lif program, how should a Liffer engage with a mentor in terms of getting the maximum out of it? They would be engaging in a certain path, like, because they have the certain time slots that over a period of time, and they're working on the project doing it. Any advice for them during mentorship? And again, after the mentorship, it's like, it just vanishes. A lot of relationship with the mentor just goes off. So what would be your advice for lifters, like, after your mentorship is over, after your residential is over, how should you maybe connect with your mentor, or how you could build something on it, or what is your advice for lifters during the lift program and maybe after it with the mentors?
Mm. Yeah, this is an interesting question because at the end of the day, relationships are all about personal connection. So if you have, let's say, common points of view, if you share the same culture, if you find things that are in common between you as a mentee and the mentors, then the relationship is very easy and it will go way beyond the project. It will not stop with the project. But if you don't find personal points that both of them can relate upon, it's not that easy to continue the relationship. But going to your question, the first one, on how to how to build this relationship and how to make the most of it. I think the important aspect is to be honest with your mentor and to explain exactly what your project is about and what is the status of the project, and also what your need is, what your main need, what do you want from the mentor. Do you want help in, I don't know, commercialization? Do you want help in understanding the client? Do you want help to scale up the business? It doesn't matter the topic. What it matters is to be honest and to explain to the mentor as best as you can, what do you want from him or her. And also another important aspect is to know your business very well and to know your project very well, so that you are able to identify the areas where you need help. If you have a very vague idea or a very, I don't know, gray area that you are confused about, be honest about it, acknowledge it, talk with your mentor about it, and try to find solutions. Um, and how to keep this relation going after the program. Like I said, it's a matter of communication. It's a matter of connectivity and also of compatibility.
Mhm.
If that person reach out to you and find common things, then the relationship will progress very easily. If not, you can find, let's say, common goals, scale up a business, go to a market, find something that is interesting or beneficially for both of you. But if it doesn't have a personal touch, that relationship will just sort of die.
I think it's very basic, and the base principles in terms of being honest. That's, I think, super amazing. And again, having common guidelines or common interests is again something very interesting, because if you have common interest, then you flock together like the birds. So I think that that's something that I could take out from that. Now, so the lift program gets over. You are in touch with your mentor. You're not in touch with your mentor, depending on your common interest and all the aspects. But again, another aspects that happens with the alumni is, especially example looking at the 2022 cohort or the latest 2023 cohort, is once the residential is over, now we are an alumni. Now we are a lift alumni. So how could the lifters who have just graduated and just have come to the alumni, what are the ways in which they should engage with the alumni? Because as you said before in the podcast, there's a huge opportunity for you to network, connect, and build relationships with other lifters. And it's not just the cohort now, because there are so many cohorts across. So what is your advice to the freshly graduated lifters on how they should engage with the alumni, or try to work on to build these dots which can be connected in the future if things make sense?
Mhm. In my opinion, it's important to let things cool down a little bit. You know, it's the excitement when you finish the program and you are happy that you achieved your purpose, your target, and you're, oh, wow, I've done this. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of me. But once this feeling disappears, it's important to keep in touch with the community, keep the communication channels open, stay in touch on, I don't know, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever social media channel you choose to. See what the buzz is in your area, for instance. So if you are a startup engaging in medical sciences, get in touch with the people that are in the same area with you and see if you find common interests, see if you find possibilities of collaboration, see if you find projects that can be united and that can be of a help to both parties or all the parties involved in them. So it's important to keep an open mind. It's important to keep the communication open. And it's also important to don't let things fade away. We all have busy lives. We all have a lot of things on our mind, career, family life, things that we'd like to do, things that we want to do, things that we must do. But among all these busy items in our life, try to keep an open mind and a little bit of attention towards the Lif community, because you never know when a new project might arise or a new idea might appear, or somebody that has the same interest as you or is doing a research connected to your project, and you can collaborate. You cannot do that if you don't stay in touch.
I think that's very nice. I think in terms of the perspective of you spoke about in terms of collaboration with Liffers and not letting things cool down. Like, once things cool down after the oil thing, and then not like trying things let things faint away. So I think that's very interesting insights in terms of how they should look at. Now talking about so the 2023 cohort example, have graduated. Now they're connecting with example, it cools away, and then they've now tried to connect with the mentors, maybe if things work out, and if they've tried to connect with the other alumni in terms of collaborations, which could be massive if the geography is different and if the research area is the same. uh, Now the next year's cohort is ready example, and these liffers are just, they've gone through the mentorship, and they're going to be preparing for the residential for the UK. Again, they're going to be physically there, meeting so many other liffers from other countries, maybe meeting their mentors in person, traveling to the huge landscape of UK and trying to understand the ecosystem. So what is your advice for the future liffers who get selected in 2024 or 2025? On what are the 3 things or 5 things, or you have thoughts on how you should prepare for your residentials, just for the residentials? What are your tips or advice, or they can be better prepared, and then leverage a lot of things, and then it could be more fruitful for them. So your advice on that?
So like I said, we are rather new in the program, so we don't have that much of an experience with Lif residential. But what I can say, based on our 2 year cohorts so far, their feedback and my feedback combined, it's about, first of all, understand your project very well, your business very well, so that when you enter the program, you know what you must work on. So you have to be very much aware of what is good and what is not so good in your activity, so that the program can help you, can really help you. So that's the main part. Understand what you have to work on and ask for help, because the program is all about you receiving the right amount of the right help for that amount of time that is available for the program. So that's the first step. Understand your business, understand your needs, and reach out to people and find help. The second part is the cultural experience, which has been absolutely incredible for the people in the program. You know, being in London for 10 days or how much time the Lif residential was about, getting in touch with people from the UK ecosystem, talking to them, seeing a different perspective on the same area or on the same problem. It was very eye-opening for the Lifers we had, for the Romanian Lifers. So they enjoyed very much the exchange of information with the mentors and also with the Lif community, because you never know where you can find a solution for your idea. It can be in a conversation, it can be in a workshop, it can be in another pitch. So all the program was actually extend your business, know what you need to receive from the program, and enjoy the experience. Make friends, make connections, talk to a lot of people, try to stay in contact with them and build relationships for your future career.
And so those are pretty interesting insights for a new lifer who would be getting into the cohort, not feeling bad to ask for help because that is what they're looking at, and getting new perspectives. So I think so those are very interesting insights. Even instead of being 2 years, I
Of
think you've got
course,
right on space. I think.
and also there is another issue that I forgot to mention. We don't have to be the same. We are not equal in this program. We don't have to fill in a certain template. Each of us brings in the program a unique experience and a unique idea. And it's not about being on the same level with the others or having the same ideas or reaching towards the same goals. It's about enriching your life and enriching your professional experience through this exchange of knowledge.
Hmm.
So don't put a pressure on you to, I don't know, to be the best of the best, to be on top of everybody else, or to be very competitive. It's not about that. It's not about showing what you can be, the best of your performance. It's not about that. It's about trying to make the most of the experience and gather as much information as possible so that you can grow in the future.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's a very interesting perspective in terms of just being there, being in the present, and just absorbing things, and going with the flow and trying to understand what things are, opening up your mind, and not be filling a particular template or not trying to do too many things as well. So I think that's really interesting insights. So now one of the questions that we again ask in every episode of the Lif podcast is it's a very different out of syllabus question, is if you had a superpower, it could be any superpower in the world. So if you had the superpower, what would that superpower be, and why would you want the superpower?
For me, personally, I would like to have the superpower of remembering everything because the program is so rich in information, and sometimes you don't understand exactly how to connect the dots. But later on, when you get in touch with other people, or when you read something else, or when you learn something new, then you make some connections in your mind. And I would like to remember as much as possible from the Lif program and what I've learned so far from there. So that would be my personal wish for a superpower. Remember.
So I think that's a new superpower that we have got on the podcast of able to remember everything, or the most important things that you can go back on. I think that's pretty awesome. So, one more aspect is that at the Lif now we also have the Lif Alumni Advisory Council. So from every cohort we have one Lif alumni member who's elected part of the Alumni Advisory Council, and the goal of this council is to be the bridge between the academy and the alumni. So there are a group of givers out there who meet monthly once, and they talk about what are the things they should be doing, in terms of being the voice of the alumni to the academy. So what is your advice to this AAC in terms of what are the aspects or the points that they should cover and they should look at? So what do you advise for the AAC in terms of, it could be any aspect which you would feel that the ASU should work on in terms of this alumni, because every year we have a batch of 50 to 70 lifters being a part of the alumni. It's like 1,000 lifters out there. So from 17 different countries. So what should they do or focus on so that everybody gets space, or everybody gets to open their minds or perspective or connections or collaborations that you spoke about?
I don't envy this alumni council, let's say, because they have a very difficult job to get in, to be in touch with so many people and try to make the best of their limited time. I'm sure they are very busy, and it's not easy to put another task on your list, let's say. And I'm so happy that they volunteer, or they were elected to do this, and they accept it. It's a huge responsibility. Um, what they could do. They could do a lot of things. It depends very much on, it depends on some factors. For instance, how well do they know their community? How well do they know the projects or the people? I'm sure not everybody, you cannot know all the people in your group. You know them at least by name, but you don't time to develop a more personal relationship. So it's important, first of all, to try to match them, to put them into some categories. Or, for instance, I don't know, based on their activity, based on their location, geographical location, based on their target, what they want to do in the future, and how can they achieve this target, who can help them. So if they can do that for their groups, I think that's a very huge step forward, because if you have these connections, if you have this pool of people that are, let's say, motivated by the same aspect, then you know how to help them in the future or how to put them in contact with other people. Also, I think it's important, I'm not sure exactly how this mentorship relation is continuing with other groups. But I think it's important that mentors reach out to other person, not only those that they have been mentoring during the program, and see if something else can come up from this connection. You know, you have two mentors working with the Romanian team. Why not put them in contact with the Indian team, for instance? I'm just giving some names randomly, and see what are their projects, what are their interests, and what can they do to work together. The mentors know very well the teams they have been mentoring, so they know their needs, they know their projects, then they know what exactly those people are looking for. And if they get in touch with some other mentees, then they can sort of intermediate collaboration, mediate the future relations. And the council can facilitate that because they have access to the mentors, an easier access to the mentors than the LIF participants, the LIFers. And also they can do a lot of things in terms of um, promoting the program, you know, in speaking on social media channels like you are doing, or in their group of people, in their domain, where I'm sure they are very well known, because you don't get to be elected in the LIF program if your idea is something that's not good, or it's something that's not of interest. So, and especially the persons that have been selected in the council, they have a larger group of people that they can reach, both in their countries and outside the countries. And it's important for them to advertise the program as much as possible, and talk about it, about their experience, share their experience, and become a sort of ambassadors of the program. It's the best way to speak about something when you have a personal experience with that subject.
It's very creative thought in context of the problem being after the lift program you don't get access to mentors, and then using the AAC or the council to again bridge those gaps with mentors, and again connecting with other lifters. And if you have the problem statement the lifters are having and the mentors are having, and then and these are mentors who are not able to reach out to the lifters. So I think that would be very interesting in terms of a one-to-one synergies that could work out with these connections. I think that's a pretty interesting insight for the AAC as well to work on. So I think so that wraps up most of our conversations, and we had the points in the podcast, and I think a lot of takeaways. I think for me, in terms of how you have been in a small amount of period, you got the perspective things, and how the amazing work that you've been doing, and a lot of insights in terms of the books, in terms of how the lifters should do before the residential, and during the residential and after the residential, and even again for certain inputs for the AAC. So again, Oana, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being on the podcast. And again, look forward to hear more from you and having more conversation with lifters from Romania, and again, meeting you soon and sometime in the future.
Thank you very much, Suraj, for inviting me and for giving me the opportunity to share my ideas and my experience with the program. It was a very, very interesting experience, and I'm very happy to be part of it. I've learned a lot, like I said. I met a lot of people, and that's my personal gain in the program. I wish you good luck in the future and hope to see each other.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Anna, and see you soon. All right. Thank you so much.